On Sports Radio 810 WHB, Jason Anderson with you, the Drake, hanging out back at the studio. We are here in San Francisco. Day number 4, final day of Radio Row here at Super Bowl 60. We've got the game for you on Sports Radio 810 WHB on Sunday. All day coverage. We'll have coverage tomorrow with the best of different things that you've heard this week on Radio Row. It's been a lot of fun here, and hopefully today will be the highlight capper of the week. That is certainly the hope for today. And here's how the show lines up. We have been working very hard. Drake has been going through extra efforts and jumping through hoops that were on fire because at 10:20 we're going to talk with Matt Derrick. That's and that is all week long. People have been trying to get Matt Derrick on. New Day and the program were the only other ones to get him on this week. Also, 41 is the mic, and also the Chiefs Digest YouTube show that he does on Tuesdays as well. But we are also going to have Matt Derrick on at 10:20 today, so take that, the rest of the world. We'll be talking with, as I said, Chiefs Digest 41 is the mic podcast, Matt Derrick. Coming up at 11 o'clock, we are going to talk with Jeff Chadiha. Somebody you don't hear on the station at all. No. You hear him with New Day. We may only, I don't know, I may just talk to Jeff Chadiha about being on New Day. I'm not sure. Hey, Drake, can you ask Steven and Jake if it's cool that Jeff Chadiha comes on the show today at 11 o'clock? Thanks, I appreciate that. And just
Sure.
let him know Chad set that up, okay? Just that was not, just let him know that was a Chad joint. So we'll talk with Jeff Chadiha though. We'll get his thoughts on the game. See if he's changed his tune from the last couple of days. See if he actually likes KU now. I kid. But we'll talk with Jeff Chadiha at 11 o'clock. This is one I've been waiting for a number of years at Radio Row. Didn't know that it would ever happen. One of the sort of, I don't know, white whales out there of dream interviews. Bo Jackson is scheduled to come on the show today at 11:30. And I've been nervous all week, Drake, that you know how Radio Row goes. You have something scheduled, something happens, it gets can't do it. Sorry, he's not going to make it. Happens all the time. And with Bo Jackson being Friday, like my biggest fear all week has been nothing about the homeless people on the streets. My biggest fear has been about on Friday if Bo gets pushed back like a couple of hours and it's like, oh, he's not going to be here till later on Friday, or hey, he's just not going to make it. Something came up because. When I found out Bo was going to be a part of Radio Row, it's been the number one. So I am oddly very nervous for that interview. And I don't get really nervous very often anymore doing radio, Drake, but that's one that I will be nervous about even being in the presence. It's weird the
I
way.
do know, but more than that, Bo knows.
Yes, that was it. I set it up on a tee, and you knocked it out of the park, kind of like Bo would do when he played baseball. And if you whiffed, I would have broken the bat. I would have done that. But Bo Jackson coming up at 11:30. That's scheduled. We are also scheduled to talk with Tony Gonzalez coming up at noon. Chiefs legend, Hall of Famer Tony Gonzalez comes up at noon. We will talk with Hall of Famer Devin Hester, the greatest kick returner, punt returner, return man, return specialist in NFL history, the only primary return specialist to be in the Hall of Fame. He went in the Hall of Fame last year. Last night, we find out what the 2026 class of Hall of Famers are going to be. The 5-person class, Roger Craig got in. So, very cool scene last night to see how emotional Roger Craig was because he had been on the ballot for a long time. Like the other guys getting in first ballots, and Larry Fitzgerald, you knew he was going to get in. Drew Brees, you knew he was going to get in. Like there were guys up there that you just knew they were going to be a part of the Hall of Fame. But Roger Craig and the whole conversation about he and Elsie Greenwood and Ken Anderson and Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft, that out of all of that, only one of those 5 got in. And that was Roger Craig, and the emotions on the stage to see how much it meant to him to know that he's going to be putting on that gold jacket coming up later on in August of 2026. That was really cool. But Devin Hester put that gold jacket on last year, and he was walking around yesterday when we set up the interview for him today. He was walking around yesterday rocking that gold jacket, and I would say that if you're wearing a gold jacket in the NFL, it's probably something you would wear quite often. Everybody's walking around here. If you've got a Super Bowl ring, you're wearing it around Radio Row. All right, you got it here. You're on Radio Row if you've got a Super Bowl ring, and if you've got a gold jacket, jacket, you are wearing it here. In fact, Drew Brees is walking around this morning. He doesn't have it yet. He'll have it when he's walking around Radio Row next year. He'll have his gold jacket. But Devin Hester, Hall of Famer, we will talk with him. So back-to-back Hall of Famers in the noon hour. And then we'll talk with Jim Gray, who's got a really cool thing going on in Vegas that he's doing with Tom Brady. It's the Hall of Excellence, and it's like a museum of sports artifacts. And I'm really interested in hearing about this from Jim Gray because, people have these crazy memorabilia pieces that are in their man cave. This is an entire museum of some of the greatest pieces of memorabilia that has ever existed. And he and Tom Brady started this, and it's been open since I think October or November there. And they have over 300 artifacts that are there. And some of the rarest things in sports collectibles that you could possibly find are in this particular Hall of Excellence. So I'm looking forward to talking to Jim Gray about that coming up in the noon hour as well after we talk with Tony Gonzalez and Devin Hester. And then coming up in the 1 o'clock hour, Kendall Gammon is going to be here on at Radio Row. I talked with Kendall, and it's he and his lovely bride, Paige. It's their anniversary. Queen P, as we like to call her. It's their anniversary, so they came out here just for vacation, enjoy themselves. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to be on Radio Row on Friday. I'm like, dude, stop by, man. We typically talk to you on Friday anyway. Let's move the conversation from 12 to 1. So he's good with that. And then we are going to, if you missed it, we're going to replay the interviews from Trey Smith and Tyquan Thornton coming up in the 1 o'clock hour as well. And if anybody else stops by, they stop by. We talk with them. We see what happens along the way. So that's how it goes. Appreciate Kyle Brandt this morning on Good Morning Football, giving a shout-out to Sports Radio 810. That was awesome. He's walking by this morning doing a live hit, and he's talking about Mike Vrabel, not verbal, Mike Vrabel, and an opportunity to win a Super Bowl as a head coach while winning 3 rings as a player, and now an opportunity to win a Super Bowl as a coach, to be the player coach for the same organization and win a Super Bowl. And then he's walking by and he goes, oh, and there's Sports Radio 810 WHB. What's up, fellas? How you guys doing? Follow the leader. And then kept walking and then going back into his spiel about Bill Belichick. So that was pretty cool. Appreciate Kyle Brandt with a shout-out. And Kimmy Chex was on yesterday with us from NFL Network. Cynthia Freeland was on yesterday with us from NFL Network. So really cool stuff there. We'll see again who else stops by today. But we'll talk with Matt Derrick coming up in about 10 minutes from now. I wanted to talk a little bit. I mentioned the Mike Vrabel, which I think was an incredibly honest mistake. I don't think Tiffany Haddish was going up to the stage to make fun of Mike Vrabel's name. I think she just saw the way that it was spelled and thought verbal. Mike Vrabel. 2 things with that. One, we'll get into what happened with JSN. But I don't understand why the presenters can't just simply be told what the pronunciation of the name is. Hey, let's keep it a secret. Mike Vrabel recorded a thank you video, recorded a video accepting the award. Mike Vrabel knew he won. Whoever recorded the video knew he won. Like, they've got this video that plays right after it. You can't let the presenter, when they're walking out on stage, to know, hey, this is how you pronounce the name of the person that's going to win. It's Vrabel. Practice it. Vrabel, not verbal. But she was also nice. She's like, Mike Vrabel couldn't be here with us today. It's a little different than Drusky, Drunky, whatever his name is. We don't like getting names right. I mean, we can just take names that we don't really know how to pronounce and just make fun of them. Drusky, is it Drusky? It's Drunky. Must be Drunky. That's what it was. To take that moment where JSN has worked his entire career to be at the precipice, the peak of his career, to win as close as a wide receiver. It's the award that a non-quarterback is essentially the MVP of the league. The MVP of the offense, the MVP of the defense, the non-quarterback, because quarterbacks win the MVP. So that's why it's like, why would Stafford win the MVP and he wasn't even Offensive Player of the Year? Well, because we've kind of separated those. It's kind of been an unwritten sort of rule that if there's a non-quarterback that is having that amazing of a season, you give that to him. And Jackson Smith-Njigba and what he has done in his career and this year to get to that point to win Offensive Player of the Year, let's call it what it is, Offensive MVP of the league, And for this dork to go and make it about him and try to say a funny joke, I felt bad for one. I mean, you feel bad for JSN because it takes the moment from him and it puts it on Drunker. I'm not sure. It puts it on that guy, and I feel bad for him. Obviously, JSN. I feel bad for Barry Sanders too because there's no way Barry thought that that's what was going to happen because I can't imagine Barry would be okay with that. There's no way. I felt bad for Barry Sanders, who looked on, because even he said in Jigba. Because again, not funny guy was mispronouncing the name, and Barry Sanders went in Jigba. Like, it's in Jigba. Come on, man. And the guy goes on Twitter and says, they didn't tell me how to pronounce the name. Dude, you've been around the NFL. You were a captain of the flag football Pro Bowl thing, the other day. You know NFL players. Not to mention they just got through saying Bijan Robinson, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Like, you know how to pronounce the name. So don't just say, hey, my bad, it was a dumb joke. But don't try to play like, oh, I didn't even know. They didn't even tell me how to pronounce his name. Shut up, man. You knew it was JS. You knew the name was JSN. You knew his nickname was JSN, but you didn't know how to pronounce the name. It's just dumb. It's stupid. You took away the moment from that person and made it about you. And I appreciate all of the players coming out and telling him how dumb it was and lame it was and stupid. And I do think, NFL honors, if you're going to make it that serious of a show, and it is serious certainly for the players and those of us that watch sports because it's a big deal because we talk about these things. We argue about Stafford versus Drake May. Sam Munson is today defending himself because he's the lone person that gave Justin Herbert a first place vote. So he's out on Twitter. We've had Sam Munson on before. I like Sam Munson. And he's talking about why he gave Justin Herbert the lone first place vote. And it's a big deal. People are arguing over it. Also, these are things that create legacies that get you into the Hall of Fame that was announced last night. So it's just pretty dumb that those things happen. Also, Matt Stafford in his speech, see you next year. That was a big moment for the Rams. And as a girl dad, that was a really cool scene with him on stage with his 4 girls. That guy is surrounded by women. He's got his wife and his 4 girls, and he's up on stage. And that was such an awesome moment. And we didn't know who was going to win. I mean, 5 votes different, 5 points difference between Stafford and Drake May. A first place vote is worth 10. Stafford got 366. May got 361. The closest vote since it was co-MVPs with Peyton Manning and Steve McNair in 2003. So an interesting night last night. We will get into the show. We'll talk with Matt Derrick, Chiefs Digest. 41 is the Mike podcast. We typically talk with him at 11 o'clock on a Friday, but, we've got some things scheduled, like, the greatest athlete that ever lives. Matt knows, just like Bo. Matt will know that's coming up at 11 o'clock. We'll take a time out. We'll come back. We're hanging out here at Radio Row, Super Bowl 60 coming up on Sunday right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We get the show rolling right after this. We started off with Matt Derrick. actually talking to him, I don't know. He's a power ballad maniac, is Matt Derrick. I think he loves power ballads more than he loves the NFL. Let's ask him. Matt Derrick, Chiefs Digest, 41 is the Mic podcast. You can only have one thing the rest of your life, Matt. Power ballads or the NFL? What are you choosing?
Boy, that's a Sophie's choice.
Yes.
And
That's
funny,
right.
you its earliest three.
I love that. Yes, because well, that's the thing is throwing yourself into the couch meant that you were getting tackled to the ground, which would be as appropriate as there is for Archie Manning. So,
Exactly. I
you know,
was just
yes. Well,
like myself
that's not replicating Archie Manning. He didn't have cushions when he was getting tackled. He didn't.
no, that was
Oh, I see what it is. Yeah, that's right. Because you weren't actually throwing the football. You were just being chased until you were tackled. You attempted. There was an attempt there to throw the
there
football.
was a
Yes. Matt Derrick is our guest. Matt, let's start with the awards last night. And a number of things to get into, but let's start with this one. Joe Tooney wins Protector of the Year. Creed Humphrey was nominated there. We talked with Trey Smith a couple of days ago here on Radio Row Live. If you missed that, anybody out there, there's the podcast. We're also going to replay that later on in the show in the 1 o'clock hour, along with that Tyquan Thornton interview. Matt, Joe Tooney, Protector of the Year. We can look back and know what this year was, and it's unfortunate. Trey Smith has been incredibly durable in his career. This year he battled injuries and said, it was tough. It was difficult to be out there. Feels great, feels healthy now. It was difficult to not be out there, I should say. Did the Chiefs make a mistake in trading Joe Tooney for the 4th-round pick and signing Trey Smith instead of the opposite? Yeah. Yeah. I was fine with it at the time. I really was. They chose the younger guy. They got a 4th-rounder for him. You would have had to what, tag and trade Trey Smith at that point. You couldn't just simply trade. He wasn't under contract, and obviously Joe Tooney wanted a new contract too. That's the thing that I think is missing in this, Matt, is part of trading Joe Tooney was the fact that you would have, if you kept him, you would have had to restructure his contract. So it's not, well, you were only paying Joe Tooney X amount of the cap hit. Well, the cap hit might have been lower because you were renegotiating the contract, but you weren't going to have him on that 1-year deal. I think that was sort of a part of the point of the offseason was Joe Tooney going somewhere that was going to give him a new contract and a place where he sort of chose. I mean, the Chiefs did right by Joe Tooney and letting him sort of pick of the destinations that somebody wanted to give the Chiefs appropriate value, or at least in today's NFL is appropriate value, is that it's not just, well, they're paying Trey Smith this and they were only going to have to pay Joe Tooney this. They would have paid Joe Tooney. Now, the question is, in 3 or 4 years when Trey Smith's contract is up, is Joe Tooney still playing at a high level? What does Trey Smith look like in that time? Because if Joe Tooney and Trey Smith are playing at the same level and you just chose the younger guy because of hopeful durability or being the younger guy, then I think we can look back and relitigate at the time and say, yeah, you know what? Here are the reasons they did it, but it was a mistake in the end. I don't know that it's there just because he won Protector of the Year. But we'll have, when more data comes in, Matt, we'll have more evidence of whether they got it right or not.
You,
A hope because as you get into your 30s, we saw Mitchell Schwartz never missed a snap, never missed a game until he never played again. And it's always a worry when you have somebody of that age, but that can happen to anybody in the NFL. We know that it's a dangerous sport. It's not about if, but when you get injured and suffer, a tough injury, unless your name is Travis Kelsey, then, you have a tough injury your rookie year and you come back and you never miss another game except for when you sit on your own or you have a bone bruise 2 days before opening game of the season and you miss that one game, and that's it. I mean, incredibly rare what he's been able to do, and Trey Smith has been really, really durable throughout his career, except for this year. So hopefully, it does not end up being that. Matt Derrick is our guest. Matt, you good with Stafford over Drake May for the MVP? Either.
God bless the league.
I like that. Yeah.
Um,
Drake May had 6 touchdowns thrown this year in the 2 games against the Jets. Um, uh, Mitch Trubisky threw for 4 against the Jets. So I mean, there's some context to some of the numbers that he put up and some of the teams. I mean, amazing year, 31-8. Like this is not to take anything away from him, and that's where I think when we get into these discussions, it's okay to point out some of the things that were deficiencies for an MVP. We're not saying, well, Drake May isn't deserving of being the starting quarterback or the quarterback that should get some credit for his team being in the Super Bowl. We're talking about the MVP of the league and who's the MVP. And I'm with you. I think Drake May had a good year, burst onto the scene. I didn't expect him to be like this because he didn't look anything near like this last year with Gerard Mayo, and I don't even remember who the offensive coordinator was, but I don't remember. But having Josh McDaniels and Mike Vrabel there, you see the difference in coaching. You see the difference in what that can do. And so, yeah, he's had a great year, but I'm totally fine with Matt Stafford being the MVP. My biggest surprise, Matt, is how close it was. It was 5 points, 366 to
yeah.
361. I thought this was going to be where, oh, Drake May, maybe we'll see. I didn't realize it was going to be that close to where it was a legit 50-50 chance to a degree.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I mean, it's literally one person voting. If they would have switched their vote first and second to Drake May over Matt Stafford, it would have been, I think, a tie, right? It would have been the co-MVPs for the first time since 2003 with Peyton Manning and Steve McNair. I'm like JSN. Offensive Player of the Year versus the MVP. I'm sort of curious as how Christian McCaffrey finished fourth in MVP, but did not win Offensive Player of the Year. Like I can get it if you differentiate between MVP being the quarterback and Offensive Player of the Year essentially being the MVP of the offense that's a non-quarterback. Okay, that's great. Call it that. But you had a running back that finished fourth in MVP voting, but didn't win Offensive Player of the Year. That's what sort of is interesting to me, not necessarily just because I've just come to the resolution to a degree that look, it's MVP quarterback, offensive player of the year, non-quarterback, and then we just move forward and let's just call the offensive player of the year the offensive MVP non-quarterback award. The I don't. I think also we get caught up in the you have to be on a team that's really successful to be an MVP, um, and whether that some people feel like is a prerequisite or not. Like Matt Stafford's the first player to win MVP that wasn't a top two seed in the playoffs for their conference since Adrian Peterson in 2012. Like you have to play on a good team to be a one or two seed and or at least win your division, and that's non-division winners for MVP. Last time were McNair and in '03, and then Peyton Manning in 2008, and now Matt Stafford in 2026, 2025, I guess, in the 2026 actual voting, but the 2025 season. That you know what I mean. You can make an argument that the Falcons, even being in the position they were, maybe Bijan Robinson, would be MVP. Or so I wouldn't vote that way, but just everybody's going to have their different sort of definition of that. Matt Derrick, 41, is the Mike Chiefs Digest. All right, Matt, we had Tyquan Thornton on a couple of days ago, and it's being talked about as to, what the Chiefs do with Tyquan. I asked him, have you been in contact with the Chiefs? And he said, I'm leaving that up to my agent and the Chiefs. Would you like to be back with the Chiefs? Definitely, yes. And then he said, but I want to go to a place that, I get my fair share of targets. He also talked about earlier in the interview about he wants to be viewed as somebody as more of an all-around receiver, not a deep threat. He lamented the fact that in practice, he's like, I'll win in practice, I'll run these routes, I'll do those things, but then in the game, it's just, only one thing that I'm asked to do, and I just, don't know how you show those things constantly, but don't get an opportunity to then show them on game day. So there's clearly some frustration. And Matt, I don't think it's just frustration with the Chiefs. I think it's now been 4 years for him in his career, and it's frustration that each year, it's sort of been viewed as the same guy. Also, that may just be his role, and there's nothing wrong with a role of being a third or fourth receiver that's going to be a really good downfield threat. I asked him about the fair share of targets and being a guy that could be used more if he could get that with the Chiefs, and he said yes, definitely for sure. So it's not where no, I'm not going to the Chiefs because I can't get that. Okay, so what do you make of that? Taekwon, fair share of targets, want to be viewed as more of an all-around receiver, not just a deep threat. He thinks he can get that with the Chiefs. One, do you think the Chiefs bring him back? Two, do you think the Chiefs will explore using Taekwon more as an all-around receiver if they do bring him back?
Well, what I would do when I would be this is Taekwon. He's doing the right thing. With Baker has been doing the right
Awesome. I think he's
thing.
shown that he continued to throw him the ball throughout the year. Patrick did, and that Giants game tells you all you need to know about trusting him. And I asked him, what was his favorite moment so far, and he said, that Giants catch, sticking the hand in the air, and he's like, yeah, he's like, I look at the picture from time to time, and he said. And he was like, "Well, if you remember, and we all do," he said the play before that I had the catch and I dove, and the ball when I hit the ground, the ball came out a little bit, and I was so mad at myself that man, I had that opportunity. And then he said I was in the huddle, they called the play, and I knew like, oh, okay, all right. And he said Pat came right back to me. And that was the trust that Pat had in him. And he's like, I'm not dropping this. I'm going to do whatever it takes to catch this. So Pat trusted him. We'll see what happens. Does the cap number and the projected cap number, does that change anything in your mind? Because a year ago it changed things. It feel like in the Chiefs' mind with the whole Trey Smith thing. Once that cap number came out, now they're looking at 300 million, jumping up another 25 million or so. Does that change anything in your mind as to what the Chiefs might be able to do on the open market or re-signing guys, extending guys, etc.? This one for you, Matt Derrick, Chiefs Digest 41 is the mic. Who wins the game on Sunday, and do you have an MVP for us? It's awesome because they'd be like, well, it's going to be a low scoring game, but I'll still go Sam Darnold or Drake May. We'll see. Byron Murphy, we got you down. Matt Derrick, Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast. Matt, enjoy the game. Let's hope the Seahawks come out on top. And we will talk next Friday, brother. Appreciate you, man. Yes, we'll do, man. Matt Derrick, 41 is the Mike Chiefs Digest. We take a time out. We come back. We continue rolling. Todd Lebo's going to sit down with Lee Sterling, get you set for the Super Bowl, a little more than a rooting interest. That comes up next. We're hanging out here at Radio Row on Sports Radio 810 WHB. See what happens on Sunday, but what a great way to end Radio Row today in the show that we had. Certainly appreciate everybody listening along the way and the interactions along the way, the kind words at times along the way. It was. Jeff and Michigan State and blah 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 in the
boy.
Big Ten. I mean, oh my goodness,
That's all
man.
right.
I
That's
didn't know
all
if maybe your hair was standing up. Did you get like your nose itching when people were talking
That's all
about you?
good. I love talking about other sports. And
Yeah.
Sherman's like a UConn guy, right? So
He is,
I actually
yeah.
gave him some love. You know, the whole – I'll give you the context of the discussion was Steven said, and I thought he said after KU's win against Texas Tech, oh, this team looks like a Final Four. Like they're going to Final Four. And I was like, I thought he said that. He said, oh, they're Final Four caliber.
Yeah.
It's just a fair comment to make.
Yeah.
We didn't have to have a discussion. I was like, well, are they better than Arizona and Michigan? And so you guys watch it. So we kind of got into it a little bit. But, like, I have great respect for KU.
Yeah.
I actually teach at KU, so I get a paycheck from them. I love Darren Peterson. But the conversation was really about, like, to me it was, is he going to actually be playing 35 minutes a game
Right. Yeah.
for 6 games? And I don't see that happen.
Which is a huge
I'm
question.
going to guess it's not going to happen.
Yeah, probably not. I would guess from what we've seen so far, and usually the best predictor of the future is what's happened in the past. So maybe that's the case. Jeff Chadilla is our guest. Is Nick Eamon-Wari going to play his full allotment of minutes coming up on Sunday?
Good question, man. That's a huge deal. Like it's rare to see guys get those kind of injuries at this time of year because you're not really practicing at that level to where you should be harming yourself, right?
Yeah.
But if they lose him, man, he's been obviously a rookie defensive player of the year candidate.
Yeah.
Tremendous player, big hitter. He's been all around the football. So to not have him available in a game like this, it's a big loss. You hope he can get out there. I don't know what the severity is.
Yeah.
We'll get the pool report at some point and get a sense of it. But, yeah, if he's not there, it's a big hit for Seattle.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. Do they typically practice in pads the week of? Is this a Mike McDonald thing that just was like, no, we need to get ready for the game? Because I heard practice in pads. I was like, that stood out to me. Like, oh, it's the week of the Super Bowl. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, like
Marty ain't the coach right now.
Man, what are you gaining from that? I mean, I get you want to have some pop, and maybe you're gonna, put it this way. It's hard to think at this time of the year, after a long season, that you would do something that would put your players in position to be compromised. Now, if he got rolled up on or something like that, I can understand that. But anything beyond that where it was super physical, it's hard to see that making sense.
Yeah. Jeff Chadilla from the NFL Network is our guest. Who do you like right now? It's a couple days away. Is there the feeling around here that I've gotten by, pretty much everybody we've talked to is this is Seattle's Super Bowl. The Patriots can steal it, though.
Yeah.
And I don't know, do you view it the same way as we head into the game?
Yeah, look, I think most people in this room we're in right now would say Seattle's winning this game.
Yeah.
But I have great respect for Mike Vrabel, and he's been on teams that have pulled off these kind of upsets. He's obviously shown the ability to turn this team around and get them to play at a high level. What impresses me about New England is that even though Drake May hasn't played great, they found a way to play around that. And so what happens if he does play great?
Yeah. If he plays great and Darnold doesn't play like the NFC Championship game, I mean, that could be the ultimate equalizer in this one.
Yeah, like I have friends who are Seattle fans who are like, oh, it's going to be 38-16. It's not even be close. It's going to be like that Broncos game. It's like, I think it's not going to be like that. I think the Patriots will make sure they keep it close. And maybe Seattle pulls away late and ends up being a 10-point win, but this is going to be a one-score game going in the fourth quarter.
We have had everybody except for Ryan Harris from Westwood One, played for the Chiefs in 14, and Evan Cohen of ESPN that does a morning show. Out of all the guests we've had, those are the only two that picked the Pats.
Yeah.
Everybody else has picked the Seahawks. And I related it to yesterday on the show, Jeff. I said, the last time we've been at the Super Bowl, that it was this large of a consensus of this team's winning, this team's winning, this team's winning, was Chiefs-Bucks in 2020. And it was like, Chiefs are winning. Oh, you're not betting against Patrick Mahomes. This is back-to-back. Look what they've done. They're rolling. Yeah, the offensive line's a little banged up, and I know about the Bucks defensive line, but Bucks did what they did to get here, but the Chiefs have been rolling pretty much all season. This is the Chiefs Super Bowl, and it was like everybody was picking the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And it was a blowout. It wasn't really close. I don't know that this will be the case, but to me, that's a cautionary tale of like, it's the Seahawks, they're going to win, because it was overwhelming in 2020 that the Chiefs were winning.
Yeah. I wasn't on that bandwagon. I know that.
I don't know. You weren't. No. Of course not. You've never picked the Chiefs to win.
But I would never pick an upset like that unless you had a veteran quarterback on the other end of it and you've seen him play really well in the postseason. And that's, to me, is like, that's the big thing with Drake May, why I wouldn't pick them, because he hasn't played great. Yeah. Like when the Bucks won, you'd seen Tom Brady do this a number of times. You'd seen him in all these situations. I picked the Giants. When the Giants played the Patriots in 2007, Patriots go on perfect season. I picked the Patriots. I was the only guy I was at ESPN who picked the Patriots. People thought I was nuts.
Giants.
The Giants. Picked the
Yeah.
Giants. People thought I was nuts. I said, look at what they've done. They've gone on the road 3 straight games. They beat Brett Favre. They beat the top seed Dallas Cowboys that year. And Eli Manning was playing out of his mind. And you have this pass rush that's playing great. And so, to me, it's like you have to have your quarterback playing great to pick this game, to pick an upset like this. And so that's why Patriots may win it, but I'm not confident to say it right now.
Yeah, right.
That's going to happen.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like you said, if you tell me that Drake May is going to play at a high level, then I could find myself seeing a way that and picking the Patriots and going, well, if I know right now that Drake May's playing as well as he's played all year, well, then I'm going to also then have to bet on an unknown that Sam Darnold will continue playing the way that he did against the Rams. Because if he struggles, then, yeah, that's a huge difference in the game if you've got one quarterback that's playing at a really high level and the other one is not. Now, if Seahawks defense and special teams, which is really good, but Patriots special teams is damn good too. So, I mean, that's one of the things that stood out to me of this sort of matchup is that some of the things that the Chiefs really lacked in this year are things that these teams do really well. It's like, oh, shocker, they won 6 games even with Mahomes out there, and they're bad at special teams. They don't have explosive plays. They
pass rush stinks.
Pass rush isn't. They don't have a front 4 that can get there. Their slot defender was really bad. No blocking tight end. They don't do play action. All the things that we've seen these championship teams do this year.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy. I was doing this story about the changing power structure in the AFC and whether the Patriots, the Broncos, Jaguars, these teams can keep this going, and really make it tough on the Chiefs and the Bills and the Ravens. And a GM I talked to made a good point about this. He said, look, people watch college football. They don't realize it's a totally different game from the NFL now. College football is so wide open, and a lot of Andy Reid's concepts for Mahomes came from college football, playbooks. Now the NFL is like old men play and pick up basketball. That was the guy's quote. And it's really guys banging against each other, not much space, not much explosiveness, because people aren't allowing that.
Yeah.
So you have to be physical in the run game. You have to be able to get pressure with 4 and have your defense be able to take away the explosive plays, because teams that want to play that way are going to struggle. It's a play action league again. It's a run game league, and it's a defense first. It's special teams again. It's going back to, I said this months ago, that this Super Bowl feels a lot like the Giants Ravens Super Bowl in 2000.
Oh, yeah.
That year.
Yeah.
You had all these teams that didn't have great quarterbacks and you didn't know who was going to get there, and then the teams that ended up winning was kind of an ugly, muck-it-up, blue-collar bunch.
Collins, the crazy Dilfer Collins matchup that everybody was anticipating and couldn't wait to see happen on the big stage. And, yeah, it's like defenses, they're smaller than they've ever been, and they're smarter than they've ever. Like, defenses are smarter than they've ever been. And I think if you're just going to try to outspeed the other team that the Chiefs have done for a number of years, but at this point that's not really working anymore, especially when teams know your tendencies and they're smaller. Whereas, like, defensive ends, looked this up, a few days ago on the way here. In 2015, the average edge rusher defensive end weighed 275 pounds. This year, the average edge rusher defensive end weighs 263 pounds.
Yep.
It's 12 pounds lighter in 10 years, which is just sort of an example of what we've seen the NFL go to. They're smarter and faster than they've ever been before. So how do you counteract that? You got to go at them and be a little more physical. And the Patriots and Seahawks, they play physical. Broncos play physical. The Rams and Sean McVay actually play physical with 13 personnel, way more than you would expect. Like, it's where that is going now, and I think that's where maybe the boat was missed by Andy Reid over the last year and a half.
And think about the explosive plays they create off that. Those teams aren't just physical and just we're going to be 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
Yep.
They're making explosive plays week in and week out. I can't tell you how many times I've watched this postseason and seen coaches scheming up 50-yard, 60-yard plays, a receiver, and it's just like, wow. When's the last time I saw that?
Yeah. Well, the explosive play differential, look this one up as well. So 12-plus runs, 16-plus passes. The differential of how many you create versus how many you give up.
Yep.
So the differential, number 1 in the league in explosive play differential is Seahawks. Number 2 is the Rams. Number 4 is number 2 is the Broncos. Sorry. Number 4 is the Patriots. Number 5 is the Rams. Number 3 is the Packers. 4 of the top 5 in explosive play differential were in the championship games.
Yep.
Not really a surprise when you look at it and go, how, the Broncos made it and the Patriots? Like, no, those are the ones that were creating and limiting explosive plays throughout the entire season.
Yeah. I mean, you watched that Broncos twice in the postseason. I was at the Bills game, and then you watch them in the AFC Championship game. Right before the halftime of the Bills game, they manufacture a 40-yard touchdown pass, a little Jordan Humphrey, where Nix rolls right and throws it back across the field.
Right.
Now it's a backup corner, but it's still like they're hitting a big play
Yeah.
to a guy who's probably their fifth or sixth best wide receiver. Then they come back in the championship game, and they hit Marvin Mims on a 52-yard pass down the field against Christian Gonzalez, an all-pro caliber corner. And you're like, with a backup quarterback throwing the ball. And you're like, where's that come from? It's just, that's what run game, that's what, the things that these teams are doing can create for you, the play action opportunities.
Yeah.
And that's, you can't say anything bad about Andy Reid and what he's done in his career, but sooner or later, and I've seen this happen, every great offensive mind gets caught up to, and they have to adjust and figure out new ways to be creative.
And I think I really believe, and maybe it's a naivety, but I really believe this offseason that's what they're going to do is look at. I can't imagine Andy Reid will go, now I know it's we've done this in this last couple of years. Now I'm going to stay with it. This is going to work. I know it's going to work. Like he's too competitive.
Yeah.
I think he's too smart. He understands offense. He introduced the pistol to his offense. He introduced the RPO to his offense. He's had different iterations of his offense. I can't imagine he would go, nope, this is what we're staying with. I think we will see an upgrade, update, or an adjustment some way this offseason.
Yeah, and also with the personnel, you hope that happens too, because that's the bigger fix to me is just figuring out how can you get the right people in to do the kind of things you want to do. Everybody wants to run the football. Hard to run the football when you got light tight ends, you got tiny receivers,
and you got running backs that don't have the vision or the explosiveness. Like they aren't good at running the ball. Yeah, I know. Look at what their personnel was. Not a surprise that's why they weren't good at running the ball. It's sometimes it's kind of simple, to a degree. Jeff Jadia. So you got the Seahawks winning.
I got the Seahawks. I'll take them 27-17.
27-17. That's right around
late score. Yeah.
Late score by the Patriots?
By Seahawks.
Okay, I was late score. 27-17
and they score late.
Okay, 27-17. Jeff, you're the man. Appreciate it, brother.
All right, but thank you, man.
Absolutely. You hear him on Wednesdays with The New Day with Steven St. John and Jake. We'll take a timeout, come back. More Zone next. We'll have a shorty here. Wayne. So that's really cool. So thank you to Jeff Jadia joining us. We're going to be talking with Bo Jackson in just a little bit and get his. I mean, it's crazy to even say that. To get his thoughts on, I don't know, his life, his legacy, being the greatest athlete that has ever lived. We'll talk to him about some of those things, and also, they're bringing the walls in at the K, go from 10 feet to 8 feet. If he ran up the wall at the K when they lower it, he might have ran over that. He might have been able to run up and then jump the fence if they have it at 8.5 feet instead of the 10 feet. That might have been the case there with Bo Jackson. So it has been a fun day so far around Radio Row. We talked to Matt Derrick earlier, Lee Sterling there picking the game, and Jeff Jadia. We'll talk with Tony Gonzalez coming up an hour from now. Or excuse me, actually not even an hour from now. We'll talk with him coming up in about 40 minutes. Tony G is going to join us at noon. There was a radio station that, or maybe it was a podcast, maybe it was a national thing, I'm not sure, that Bo and Tony were sitting down together. And I'm like, I went and snapped a picture. And I'm like, I got Bo coming up at 11:30, and I got Tony G coming up at noon. We'll also talk to Hall of Famer Devin Hester, the greatest returner, the only return specialist, specific return specialist in the NFL Hall of Fame. We will talk with him as well. So we're told that we may get Bo early. So I don't know, would we stay here, Easton? Do you think, is he in the middle of an interview still? He's walking over here right now? Okay, there we go. So a little bit different then. So Bo Jackson is walking over right now, and we're going to sit him down. So Drake, we're going to call an audible, so we're not going to go to break here. Wait for Bo Jackson. We're going to bring on Bo right now here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, the greatest athlete that has ever lived in the history of the game, in the history of pretty much any game in sports in general, is Bo Jackson. Can you fix his mic for him there, Sterling? He might have it on backwards. Let's flip that around. Yeah, I think you like it on this side. Flip it and see if you can. Here you go. No. I'll do it like this. If you like it on that side, we will swing it over like that. There we go. Got it. Got the headset for Bo and everything ready to go. There's a lot of things that Bo knows, and Bo knows what side he wants his headset on as well. Bo Jackson joining us here in the zone on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Bo, how you doing, man? You look good.
I'm doing good.
Yeah, you look really good, man.
I'm doing good. Actually, This is the first Super Bowl event that I've attended in over 20 years.
Really?
I think the last one was I went to watch my college roommate play. He left Seattle and went to Dallas. I think was when they won their second Super Bowl, when they won all those Super Bowls in a row. They won their second Super Bowl. That was the last time I attended.
Yeah. What's the reason this time to go around?
Well, I'm here introducing my new podcast.
Okay.
Called Bo Knows Men's Health.
Bo Knows Men's Health.
And it's funny because when I say I'm introducing my new podcast, everybody thinks it's about sports. But I love sports. But for me, I'm more into helping my fellow man.
Mm-hmm.
And Bo Knows Men's Health, back in October, I had my prostate taken out. One thing that we as men don't do, we don't talk about our personal issues.
Mm-hmm.
Women talk about them every day. They go on TV shows, national TV shows. They sit with a glass of wine, and they talk about everything. Hysterectomies, cervical cancer, breast cancer. They talk about it all. And continence. We feel that we have to keep that to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't want somebody else to think of us as being weak, or whole, or that we're not that alpha dog.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to use my platform, Bo Knows Men's Health, to peel the layers off of that onion.
Yeah.
Because if we talk about it more, knowledge is power. And I ask you, how many times have you got with your buddies and y'all sitting around just talking and BSing, having a beer or two, and somebody just, man, but I get up 4 or 5 times a night to go take a leak because my bladder's is killing me. Nobody talks about that.
Yeah.
Or Man, last week I woke up, went to the bathroom to do my business, got to flush the toilet. There's blood in the stool because of my colon. We don't talk about those issues.
No.
We don't talk about the fact that we're older. We aren't young anymore. We don't talk about our personal issues like women do. We don't talk about, God forbid, somebody bring up a ED problem. We don't talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
But you see drugs on TV, on the internet, every day about it.
Yeah.
We sit up and see it, but we keep quiet.
Mm-hmm.
I want to use my platform to help guys understand that, hey, it's okay to go to the doctor to get these tests done, but don't be afraid, because a lot of guys are afraid to go to the doctor because they're afraid of what they're going to be told. Knowledge is power. If you know you have an issue, you can get it taken care of before it becomes a big issue.
Yeah.
And I say this, I hate saying it, but a couple of weeks ago, I buried my brother-in-law. I loved him to death. I lost him to cancer. It started out as prostate cancer, but it metastasized over his whole body because he tried to treat it. Cancer and Mother Nature is undefeated. Two undefeated things that will win every time you try to go up against.
Yeah.
Best thing for you to do is to cut it out, move on down the road, because I don't want to spend the rest of my life every 3 to 6 months looking over my shoulder. I wonder if this SOB is back.
Yeah.
Get it, cut it out, get it done with. After my surgery, I had my first PSA test done 3 weeks ago. Nervous.
Yeah.
Because before my surgery, my PSA level was over 7. That's combined with my Gleason score. Combined over 7, you got problems with the prostate. And mine was a little over 7. Went and got my PSA test done 3.5 weeks ago, a month ago. Got it back, and I'm sitting there nervous because it takes you about a week for me to get it back to you. My doctor, I look at my portal, my PSA score come back 0.01.
Wow. Wow. Congrats on that.
And the way I celebrate,
Yeah.
go get my grandkids,
Yeah.
my 2 grandsons, and toss them baseball in the house.
Do they know who you are? Do they know, besides being grandpa, do they know?
Put it to you like this. My oldest grandson, who is 4, he says the 3 best baseball players in the world, his name is Aiden, by the way. But he said the 3 best baseball players in the world is Aaron Judge, Pawpaw, and him.
Yes, I like Aiden.
And him. So
Yeah.
that's my glory. That's my love. That's my passion. I want to be healthy enough so I can watch them take their first swim lessons,
Yeah.
take their first swing on the Little League Baseball
Yeah.
field, Taekwondo lessons. I want to be around for them. He sent me a picture yesterday of him with his acceptance letter. Now, he's just 4. His acceptance letter to attend the big kid school for kindergarten next year.
Wow.
So it's like he got an accepted letter from Harvard.
But for him,
Yes, he got his letter. And it makes Papa, I'm the proudest Papa on the planet.
It's amazing.
So I'm getting this done, taking care of myself. Hell, I had a colonoscopy a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
Taking care of myself so I can be around. And if I could use my platform
Yeah.
and my experience to help younger guys and guys who are afraid to come out and talk about it, because I want to take this on the road. I want to wrap a bus, take it on the road, come in your town, have a auditorium, get as many guys in there as we can.
Mm-hmm.
We'll charge them. It will not be over $10. Pay whatever you can. You pay $1, come in. $10 is fine, but it won't be over $10. And that money will stay in your area to help guys who can't afford to get a PSA test,
That's
who can't afford to get a colonoscopy. Then we're going to have your local doctors, surgeons, come on set to sit and talk so we can tell them, so we can introduce them to the public, their clinics, their hospitals, but there's a catch. You come on the show and we're going to pub you in your clinic, in your hospital. Guess what? You got to give that guy out there who can afford a big discount.
Nice.
He only got a couple of $100.
Yeah.
That PSA is going to cost that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's all about
the community.
paying it forward
Yeah.
and doing that to help somebody else. I wasn't put on the earth to be the world's greatest football or baseball player. I enjoyed it. I loved it. I thank God for allowing me to do it. I think I was put here for something bigger. And I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I think this is part of it.
Yeah. Bo Jackson is our guest. How do you view, you mentioned you weren't put on earth to be that, but how do you view the legend of Bo Jackson now that, you are my generation's Babe Ruth. When I was growing up and people talked about Babe Ruth, that's what I do when I talk about Bo Jackson. How do you view yourself when people discuss those things?
I don't. I don't view myself because I'm me.
Yeah.
I've been like this all my life. From the first time I sat on my back porch, my mother gave me a piece of watermelon. Go sit on the back porch and eat it. Don't you get in trouble. Because I was prone for trouble. And me staying out of trouble was like taking a fish out of water. So I had to swim. I had to be in the water. And I sat there on the back porch, ate that piece of watermelon, took the rind, broke it in half, birds flying trying to go over the house. I threw a piece of water, hit it, and my mother come out the house right when I threw it and hit the bird, and it dropped over by the water faucet. I got a butt whooping. So that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And it all started back then because I was known in my neighborhood for throwing rock. Window got broken, kid got hit in the head.
It was Bo.
I did it.
Yeah.
So it just monetized from that.
Yeah.
From just being a little kid to throw rocks to running from butt whoopings. So they always ask, when you made that 90-yard run against the Seahawks, what was going through your mind? I said, I can hear the wind blowing by my ear hole, but I can hear him here. Don't let them catch you. Don't let them catch you. And it's not the Seahawks. It's my brothers and sisters chasing me to take me back to get an ass whooping.
That's some pretty good motivation to not get caught.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's me in a nutshell. I'm here to help spread the word.
Yeah.
About that. I got other things that I talk about because that blends right in with Bo Knows Health. I got a sports drink that I have out called Bo 3.0. I have sports complexes in Illinois and in Ohio for summer league sports to work out during the winter when there's a foot of snow outside.
Yeah.
You come inside and be in T-shirts and shorts, take live batting practice, live long toss.
It's a big deal.
Play Little League baseball games. So that's what I'm about.
Yeah.
It's for me, it's all about giving back.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you haven't seen me out.
Yeah.
That's because that's just me.
Bo Jackson is our guest. Was there a sport you weren't good at?
Basketball.
You weren't good at basketball?
It's an indoor sport.
You had to be outdoor.
I had to be outdoors.
Yeah, you had to be
I had
outdoor.
to be outdoors.
Getting in trouble.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can't get in trouble inside.
So stay outdoors so you can get in trouble. Bo Jackson, he is our guest. Everybody knows you with the baseball and the football. Hall of Fame was announced last night. If you were to go into a Hall of Fame, which one would you choose?
That's not for me to decide.
Yeah?
That's not for me to decide. No. It wouldn't bother me one bit. But like I said, I don't think I was put on this earth to go in the Hall of Fame. And people say, man, I hate the fact that you got injured. No, don't hate that. My life is laid out exactly how the man upstairs wanted to lay out. And I say this, God put speed bumps in everybody's road a lot. Period. What do you do when you're driving through your neighborhood, come up on a speed bump? You slow down, get over it, go on down the road. That's my life. That's my hip injury.
Yeah.
It's a speed bump. I slowed down, got over that speed bump and moved on down the road.
Was it easy to get over the speed bump?
After the first 48 hours, yes.
The first 48 hours?
Because I accepted the fact that my football career was over. It took 48 hours for me to accept the fact that my football career was over. But once it was over, I never looked back.
Wow.
I didn't sit up and pine cry, go sit at the bar and drink myself silly. No,
Where do you get that from?
I moved on to the next chapter.
Where do you get that from that you're able to move on that quickly and not think back and reminisce or think about what could have been?
Well, football has never been the center of my universe. Baseball has never been the center of my universe. Life, family, loved ones, friends, that's at the top.
Yeah.
Sports is probably a distant third
Wow.
in my life. So it was easy. But don't get me wrong. I was good for the sport, but the sport was great with 20 exclamation marks for Bo Jackson.
Wow.
It's opened doors for me. For a nappy head kid raised in a 3-room house, grew up with a speech impediment, now battling chronic hiccup, had them for 4 years, and still able to use my platform, have come such a ways where I can use my platform to help save somebody's life somewhere down the road by going to get a simple PSA test. I'm blessed.
Yeah. Bo Jackson is our guest star of Pro Stars on Saturday mornings with Michael Jordan and Wayne Gretzky.
Yep.
That I would watch as a kid. You always had those messages at the beginning of the
Yes.
cartoon, and then the cartoon actually took place. Yeah,
Absolutely.
fighting evil, fighting the bad
Fighting
guys,
evil.
helping out the environment,
Been
and now you
doing it all
continue
my
to
life.
do that. Yeah,
Been
now you
doing
can-
it all my life,
That's
brother.
amazing. Bo Jackson,
And I love it.
Yeah, Bo Jackson is our guest. Art Stewart, Buck O'Neil, they would talk about the sound of the bat when you would make contact. Did it always make that contact when you connected, or was there something along the way that it was just like, well,
I
this
ne-
is different?
I never noticed it. They noticed it.
Yeah,
Because I've never heard the sound of the bat when Babe Ruth hit it. I wasn't
Yeah.
even born.
Yeah.
But they were around.
yeah.
They knew that sound. And Buck O'Neil told me that he was up in the press box. And he said he heard that sound. And he said, I haven't heard that sound since I watched Babe Ruth take batting practice. And he said he had to go to the window to look out to see who was making that sound. And it was me in the batting cage. And he said he's never heard that sound before. He hasn't heard that sound since the last time he watched Babe Ruth take batting practice.
What did that? I mean, you hear that. What is that as a kid growing up, and now early in your baseball career? What do you think of when Buck O'Neil is the one telling you this?
That makes me feel good because Buck O'Neil has seen 100 times more in his lifetime than I have. He's experienced more. So when somebody like that speaks, only thing that you do is shut the hell up and listen. Soak it in. Be a sponge and soak in what he says.
See, that's what people are now with Bo Jackson. And when someone like that is speaking, who's the greatest athlete that ever lived, you just soak it in. Who's the greatest athlete to you?
Who's the greatest athlete? Oh, there's plenty. But the toughest person on the planet is my mom.
Hmm.
It is my mom. Because I look up to a lot of people. George Brett,
Yeah.
Reggie Jackson, you name them. My idols in football, Earl Campbell, Walter Payton, Ed Tuttle Jones, guys like that. Guys like that. I look up to those guys.
Yeah.
Nolan Ryan,
Mm-hmm.
so forth and so on. So I look up to guys like that.
Bo Jackson is our guest. Bobby Wagner was the NFL Man of the Year last night, the Walter
Mhm.
Payton Man of the Year. His speech reminded me of you because he spent the entire time talking about his mom is living through him. And I thought of you with that because you have been very vocal about what your mom meant to you and how, every day you still think of her after she passed away some, 25, 30 years ago?
Yes. My mom passed away 3 weeks after I had hip replacement surgery.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was, out of 10 kids, I was the only one that wasn't there when she passed away. But at the foot of her bed, there's a picture of me that Sports Illustrated took. It's a full page of me in college with a straw in my mouth. And I just finished running. I had on a white T-shirt. I had a white T-shirt with a straw in my mouth, sweating. And they took that picture and put it in a spread. And my siblings that was there say, she said goodbye to everybody. She looked at everybody like she said goodbye. We're all standing around the bed. And she said goodbye to everybody. And she looked at my picture at the foot of the bed and raised her hand. As saying bye, put her hand down, and she went home. So
Yeah, Bo Jackson is our guest. It's Bo Knows Men's Health, BKMH, Bo Knows Men's Health. You know, they're bringing the walls in at the K. Bringing the walls in at the K. They're moving the fences in, and they're lowering them down to 8.5 feet instead of 10 feet.
They should have done that 30 years ago.
Agreed. Agreed with you on that.
Hell yeah.
You might.
That was a cow patch. Shit, I would have hit 300 home runs instead of 150.
They'd have brought the fences in. You might have run over the fence at 8.5 feet instead of 10
That
feet.
too. That too. Would have caught a lot of home runs. Would have robbed a lot of people.
Yes.
So forth and so on. But yes, it's good that they're making that ballpark to where people can have fun.
Yeah.
Because there's a big ballpark.
Yeah, no doubt. Bo
No doubt.
Jackson. Bo, thank you so much for stopping by. This was a dream of mine to be able to interview one day in my life. So thank you so much for doing that. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
There's Bo Jackson, the greatest athlete that has ever lived on this planet, joining us here in the Zone on Sports Radio 810. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take the show with you by listening live on 810WHB.com. In the 810
Back at the studio, heart rate starting to level off a little bit here in the zone. Live from Radio Row on Sports Radio 810 WHB. The greatest athlete that has ever lived sitting here talking with us in the previous segment. And I think he said, shucks, I would have hit 300 home runs at Kauffman if they brought in the fences like that. That's what I heard. Drake, do you hear that? Shucks. Shucks. That would have been something I could have hit more home runs. Oh, shoot.
Everybody listening, yeah, that's what they would have heard.
If you're listening on the app or other, that's what you'd heard. Shucks. I would have hit 300 home runs there. So there you go. Bo Jackson, his podcast, Bo Knows Men's Health. Joining us, our generation's Babe Ruth. There's no doubt about that. More than a man, less than a God. You know, you hear that about Babe Ruth, but he said the line that he said, when Buck O'Neil is talking, you just shut up and listen. I love that line. That's great because that is absolutely true. Buck O'Neil and now Bo Jackson, but like Buck O'Neil was one of the greatest interactions / just being in the presence of a person when I was, covering the Royals as like maybe even an intern. It would have had to probably be an intern during the summer and going out there and getting out there early to watch batting practice because that's something I'd never done, and just being like in the dugout and right on the other side of the fence, in that warning track part of it, and Buck O'Neil just standing there and just shooting the breeze and talking and sharing stories was one of the absolute coolest moments of my entire life of being around Buck O'Neil. And that's really cool that, you hear Bo Jackson say, when Buck is talking, you just shut up and listen, man. And that's what everybody did when Buck O'Neil was talking. People just shut up and they listened to the stories that he told. But Bo Jackson, he's talked before. He doesn't talk often, but he's talked before. As he said, he's dealing with a speech impediment. It's a real thing that he's been battling hiccups for 4 years. Doctors can't figure out what's going on. He can't get rid of them. So he's had to, and you heard that in that interview there. He had the hiccups the whole time because he's been dealing with that for 4 years now, dealing with the hiccups while he talks. But that's not going to stop him from doing this podcast of Bo Knows Men's Health and do nothing about sports, but just about getting men to talk about their health. But he's talked a number of times about, the football and not playing anymore and things like that. I do wonder how much the legend of Bo Jackson is greater, almost amplified because of the injury. Because at really, you can't even say the height or the peak. Like it felt like he was he was still ascending to a level of where he was going to be at the peak of a career in the prime. That his career was cut short because of that. That I think he would have been amazing. He probably could have picked whichever sport to be in the Hall of Fame with, or maybe even both. But I think you can make an argument that the legend of Bo Jackson is amplified because there's something we just never know what could have been if not for that damned Bengals game when he wasn't even supposed to play in the game. Wasn't even supposed to play in the game because he was injured. But he destroyed the Bengals and said, I kill the Bengals, so I'm going to go out there and play because I kill the Bengals. Because 70% of Bo is still 150% of somebody else. So I'm going to go out there and kill the Bengals, and then he gets injured in that particular game, and that's certainly too bad. But it would have been awesome to see him continue his career with the Royals and baseball, and how good he would have been. And shoot, he would have hit 300 home runs at Kauffman if they would have brought the fences in back then.
Shucks. It was Shucks.
Was it Shucks? Shucks. Shucks is what it was. I would have hit 300 home runs. And Drake, I wonder how many people are going to introduce him as the star of Pro Stars on Saturday mornings.
Not very many. I had Tecmo Bowl ready to go if he walked over when we were expecting him. But
there you go.
Yeah,
I remember the cartoon.
Pro Star is pretty good.
I was 11 years old watching that cartoon with he and Michael Jordan and Wayne Gretzky, and it wasn't like the live action sort of thing because they had the intro before the cartoon. It would be Bo and Wayne and Michael talking and doing different messages to kids, and then they would actually play the cartoon. So it wasn't like the cartoon, and then all of a sudden there'd be, like Who Framed Roger Rabbit or something like that. It was, Space Jam for the Easton kids, for the age. Space Jam 2 for Easton, I guess, would be more in line for that. But then you would have the actual cartoon that would take place. So interesting. The best athlete, his mom. His mom, who's the best athlete for me? It's my mom, his mom. But also, before we, because we're going to go to break, we're going to talk with Tony Gonzalez coming up at noon. Dude, the line about when he was running for 99 yards, he didn't hear anything. He could hear the wind in his ear hole in his helmet, but he wasn't thinking about not getting tackled. He wasn't running away from them. He was running away from his brothers and sisters because they were trying to catch him to take him back to his mom to get an ass whipping. That's who he was running from, was his brothers and sisters, to keep him from getting a whooping by his mom. How about that? And the first time, he was a fish in water when it came to trouble. He broke the pineapple in half and threw it at the bird. It hit the bird. I mean, unfortunate for the bird, but you know what? That bird has a story to tell now. I got hit by a pineapple rind from Bo Jackson when he was 4 years old. That bird will forever be able to tell that story to all of its friends and kids and grandkids. That's a great story for that bird to be able to tell, man. We'll talk with Tony Gonzalez coming up here in a little bit, see who he's going to pick, because we're here at the Super Bowl. Devin Hester's walking around. He's not wearing the gold jacket today. It's interesting. He was wearing a gold jacket yesterday when he was walking around and doing different interviews, but he's not wearing the gold jacket today. I don't know. You're allowed to wear, like, nobody would judge him. Like, if you showed up in the same outfit like 2 or 3 days in a row at Radio Row, maybe that'd be different. But if you show up with a gold jacket that you wear in the Hall of Fame, that's a little different. I think you're allowed to wear the same thing back-to-back days if it's a Hall of Fame jacket. Or if it's
I
a Super Bowl
365 of them.
That's right. You'd only need one. Just wear it every day. I guess, there'd have to be a day when you get it dry cleaned, right? So maybe a couple times a year you get it dry cleaned. Get that out there. So we'll talk with Devin Hester, the best return specialist in the league, in league history, and the only specific specialist in the Hall of Fame in NFL history. So thank you to Matt Derrick joining us earlier in the show. Also, Jeff Chadia talking with him, and Bo Jackson there on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We will talk with Tony Gonzalez coming up on the other side of the break. We'll talk with him about his time with the Kansas City Chiefs, broadcasting now for him. We had Terrell Davis on earlier this week, and I told Terrell Davis, the reason that the Broncos won that game in '97 was, one, the wrong quarterback was playing. We talked about that with Rich Gannon. And Tony Gonzalez, that was absolutely a catch. BS call. So absolutely a catch. I'll ask Tony Gonzalez about that as well. So Tony Gonzalez will talk with him. Devin Hester will talk with him. Jim Gray still scheduled to talk with him. Kendall Gammon's roaming around here at Radio Row as well. More to come next on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, hanging out. Final day here at Radio Row before we head back home. But the game is right here on Sports Radio 810 on Sunday. And we've told you all the things about DraftKings throughout the week and new customers and the early exit protection that you get. Joining us now, Tony Gonzalez with DraftKings here at Radio Row. Tony G, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing fine. You look good.
Thank you.
I think you could probably go out and get, a couple catches?
I could. Oh, hell yeah.
2-3 catches?
I could get 2-3 catches, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe in the red zone, just throw it up high.
There you go.
Get it.
Yeah, there you go. How many plays in a game right now? Could you go out there?
Oh, man.
Could you
I
play
bet I
right
could
now?
do about 10.
10 plays?
10 plays.
I love
10
it.
good plays.
I
and
love
that's
it, man.
That's
Yes.
it.
What do you think when you look at the NFL right now, how it is, and sort of it's gone ebbs and flows, and we see like the Chiefs offense and what they've done with Patrick Mahomes, and now it's more of a sort of a heavier style now with running the ball. You kind of paved the way for what we're seeing with all these tight ends now.
Yeah.
Do you view yourself as that guy that was sort of the groundbreaker for today's tight end?
Yeah, I think so. And I can't take all the credit. I think Jimmy Ray, our offensive coordinator out there in Kansas City back in the day, I remember he started splitting me out wide. I actually did it a little bit in high school. Didn't really do it in college. But Jimmy would split me out and put me in the slot and on third and long or third down situations. Or long passing situations, and we saw it like, hey, this is a matchup that I can't go out there. I'm gonna beat a linebacker.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, and it really, Bill Romanowski. I don't know if you guys remember that name.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was a guy who would one of those defenders that would get you off the line of scrimmage. And when you're a tight end, you got your hand in the dirt. He's lined up right over you. You couldn't even get out, move. So they moved me out. Let me go one-on-one with him, a linebacker in space, and I killed him, and it wasn't even close. And I think it just kind of took off from there. That it's such a mismatch. So you can use these tight ends all over the field.
When you saw that happening, like when you go up to the line of scrimmage, you're like, "This is over. I already know.
Over.
I already know we got this."
Oh, especially at the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, it was because the defense had never seen it before, so they couldn't adjust.
Yeah.
They would just bring a guy out there with me, and I'm like, okay, one-on-one with this guy, and because if it was a linebacker. Those are big, it was old school football. So these big old linebackers out there, it's like you can't guard me in space, and then or a DB, it's too small. Just throw it up, and I did that for the rest of my career, honestly. And that's what these guys are doing. It's what Travis Kelce does. It's what Gronk was doing. It's what Sam Laporta. It's what all the young up and coming tight ends are doing right now. You can't, if you want a good offense, you're gonna have a tight end who can operate in space. Because of that mismatch.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big reason why the Chiefs have been what they have been is because of Travis Kelce. And what's so amazing, like watching him play, and I know you've talked about this, and he's talked about your influence on him is, he'd say, the Andy Reid offense isn't a line on a piece of paper. And it's like Travis, well, that line maybe is kind of a suggestion to Travis. It's not really the play, but it's sort of like, in general, this is a way you could go.
Sure.
This is the route you could take.
Backyard football right there.
Yeah, a little bit.
That sound, and that was obviously the connection, one of the greatest connections in NFL history, those two guys, to be able to understand and be on the same page, because that's not easy either.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be able to, it's like a great point guard, Magic Johnson with James Worthy, or I don't know what I would say now, but I'm from the old school. So Magic Johnson with James Worthy, just knowing where they are at all time. Travis, especially down in the red zone, is where that really comes in. Let's say you got a route where you're just going to go straight down the middle, but there's a safety there. Let's say the middle field's closed or whatever. It's like, all right, well, you know what? I'm going to run to the corner. And you really got to be intelligent to know that you're not going to run into somebody else's pass. So you got to operate within your space, and then Patrick's got to read it in the moment. That takes that's elite right there, and that's what those guys are.
Did you ever have that freedom at any time with Trent?
We had one of my favorite plays was called Y Poco, which is post corner. So I'd come out to the line of scrimmage and I could see it. All right, am I going to go down the middle here and run the post down the middle, or am I going to run the corner down to the red zone? We didn't really do that much with Trent, because it was the timing wasn't there, and that offense too. Don't even get me started on that offense. It was that they brought that Rams offense with Dick Vermeil. Love Dick Vermeil, but I hated that offense. It really wasn't for a tight end.
Okay.
But before he had gotten there, Elvis Gerback and Jimmy Ray, we used to just kill him down there. That's when it was unstoppable. And then we brought it back after Dick Vermeil left and Herman Edwards got there with Tyler Thigpen and Brody Croyle. A lot of those read right type routes. Y option. I probably caught out of all the catches I had, I seriously have probably caught 450 Y options.
Really?
Where you go 8 yards, sit down, or turn out, read zone or man, all those type of options that you had. I love that because that gives me a chance to get open. It's like you can't guard it. There's nothing you can do.
Was there any conversations with you and Dick about hey man, this is Hi, Tony Gonzalez. How you doing? Like, best tight end in the league. How you doing? You know.
You know what's funny is when he showed up. I remember I was All Pro like 3 years in a row before they got there.
Yeah.
First team All Pro, and I showed up. I mean, and I meet Dick, and he sits down. And he goes, "Hey, you're a good player. Here's what I want from you, though. You're about 245, 248. I want you to be 255, 260. I want you to put on some weight." And I remember going, like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, in my head, I didn't say anything to it. I was so young back then. I just went with whatever they were telling me to do. And I remember Trent sat me down. And he goes, you had 1,200 yards last year, something 90 or whatever it was, 90, 80, whatever, like how many catches. And he goes, you're not going to catch that in this offense. I'm just letting you know right now. It's not going to happen. And sure enough, my numbers just dipped when those guys got there. But
but you did have the game like Trent and you with getting you 100 catches. Like
yes,
for this,
that
like,
one season.
That was that game was amazing to watch because it was like it didn't matter. Tony was getting 100 receptions that season. Like they were going to make sure that that's the case.
Well, we weren't going to the playoffs that year, so they were like, "Hey, let's take care of it," and it was good. I'm really happy that they did that for me.
Yes,
it was fun.
Tony Gonzalez is our guest. You know, we talked with Terrell Davis yesterday, and I tried to tell him that 97. There's two reasons why they won the game. One, Elvis instead of Rich. And Tony Gonzalez was freaking in bounds, man. I mean, that was a BS call. Like, Tony Gonzalez was in bounds, and that's the only – I told him that's the only reason you got a ring. The only reason you got a – he laughed and said, that's funny. He didn't believe me, but I think it's the truth.
It's true. We had beat him. We had split with them during the regular season. And then that team was so good. That was – whew.
Is that one of the best teams you played on in your Chiefs time?
I think it's the best Chiefs team that I ever played on.
97?
97. Yep. I mean, they had – top 5 defense.
Yeah.
Derek Thomas was balling.
Yeah.
They had so many guys offensively. Andre Bad Moon Rising.
Yeah.
We had Marcus Allen still on that team. It was good. It was a heartbreaker. I think we were 14-10.
Yeah, 14-10 loss at the last pass down the.
Who did you have on here before me? Who was sitting here?
We haven't. We haven't had anybody on it in a little bit. Why? What's up?
I'm sitting over here. I got gum.
No way! Are you serious?
Well, Taffy, and I'm looking at Taffy. I'm like, who sat here?
Sat there?
What dude sat here and put his gum?
Terrell Davis.
There? Was it Terrell Davis?
I'm going to blame it on
Terrell Davis.
I'm going to tell Terrell. I'm going to blame it on Terrell Davis. Look at that. My goodness, man. TD. And he's got this ring. He's got 2 rings because of that. You know?
Good for him.
That's right. Tony Gonzalez is our guest. You think Travis? You think he's got another year in him?
Yeah. Does he have it? Yeah, of course he's
got
it.
Probably another 2 or 3 years in him that
I think
he
he's
could
got
do
another year in him. But, obviously, we had our Christmas game out there in Kansas City. I had a chance to sit down with him one-on-one for the camera, for the show.
It's a great interview.
Yeah, and I really came away from that going, I don't think he really knows. He really doesn't know what he wants to do. He's going to have to figure that out. But my advice to him, whether he was sitting here or off or right now, is you come back because you need to in his situation, not because you want to. I don't think that's a good enough reason.
Interesting. Explain need or want. What does that mean?
There's a difference. Like, you feel like I can't live without this game. Like, I mentally, I just wouldn't be okay. I want to be around the guys in the locker room, the grass, the cleats, like I still enjoy. Like, I need that.
Yeah.
Because if you come back because you want to, it's just for him. He was. And this all of us. Like, the reason I retired, you're not the player that you used to be.
Yeah.
And I think when you're out there, you just don't want to, for at least for me, I didn't want to put that on camera, But some guys need it. Jerry Rice told me play till the wheels fall off, and he did. He got cut from the Denver Broncos, but he needed it. He felt like I think that's something he needed. Where Travis is, I mean, you're not chasing rings, you're not chasing records, you're not chasing money, you're not chasing fame. You're not. The only thing you come back for is because you feel like I need this.
Yeah.
But if he does come back, that's a great addition for that Chiefs locker room. Forget about the production. It's about what he does as a soul of that team. I think you can't underestimate what he brings in that locker room.
Is that what went through your mind when you finally walked away? Because you were still playing at a high level. I mean, we look at your numbers in your last year. Like, that wasn't a guy that the NFL said, no, thank you, that you can't play anymore. That was a guy that said, no, thank you to the NFL.
Yeah. Well, that's that, and that's what I said. We had gone to the NFC Championship the year before that, year 16, and then year 17. I think we won 2 games, and I was just like, I just can't. I don't need this anymore.
Yeah.
I wanted to.
Yeah.
But I was like, I just don't need this anymore. It's just it's too hard. It's too hard to chase.
Yeah, too hard as in like your body and
I
just
think
mentally.
More mentally than physically for me
Wow.
at that point, because obviously I think I had 83 catches that
Yes.
last year,
Yeah.
8 touchdowns. Like I was still
right.
playing really well,
Yes.
but it was one of those things like it's to get up the grind, the monotony of it, and then all for what? I mean, because if we don't win a Super Bowl, it's for no reason. I wasn't chasing records. I wasn't chasing notoriety. I wasn't chasing money. I wanted that damn ring.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to leave Atlanta. I didn't want to go to a different place.
Yeah.
I wanted to stay right there. And I was like, I don't think we're going to be able to do that if I come back. I don't think I'm moving the needle that much.
Interesting.
And sure enough, they did not do that well. They did go to the Super Bowl, but it was 3 years later.
Yeah, that's
I
right. You'd had to hold on for a while.
And could you imagine if I didn't come back and they went to the Super Bowl?
Oh, no. Sign on in December.
I know.
Sign on in
I guess
December.
I could have done that.
Could have done that. Yeah, Tony Gonzalez working with DraftKings. Obviously, the Super Bowl right around the corner, man. It's going to be, it's the biggest day when it comes to placing bets and everything.
Yeah.
I am. I've got a number of things at DraftKings already working.
Nice,
so
nice.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be good. Yeah, number one place for live sports betting this week for the game. So it's
Yeah.
going to be they're giving away $5 million in prizes
Yes.
for live sports betting during the game. It's going to be great.
I don't bet anywhere else, man. You get that first half protection. I don't bet anywhere else. The first half for early exit. Tony, thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it, man.
All right,
Thank
thanks
you so
for having
much.
me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. There's Tony Gonzalez, Chiefs the 100 receptions in a season, getting that in that game. So that was pretty awesome there. So visiting with Tony Gonzalez, very cool, and also almost essentially being told, yeah, once Dick Vermeil got here, you're not going to be that dude that's going to be catching a bunch of passes. This isn't really the way he runs his offense, and so that was interesting to hear from Tony Gonzalez. But we're hanging out here live on Radio Row as we continue rolling, and we are now being joined by Devin Hester, Hall of Famer Devin Hester, and Mark Singleton, Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Rudolph Foods. Hello, how are you guys?
What's going on?
Not much, man. How are you, Mark?
Man, it is an awesome day, isn't it?
I don't doubt it. I was thinking, Devin, that it's probably easier for you than someone like myself to make their way through all this crowd. You've got a little more experience.
Yeah, a little bit more, man. I kind of know I avoid traffic and weed bob and weed through them, so it's been pretty good, man.
Do you see it opening up in front of you?
Always.
Can you see it the same way?
I always predict it. I can see it before it even opens.
I bet you're fun to drive behind, too.
Oh, yeah. I get text messages all the time. I see you, man.
You are. So what are you doing here with Crunch Time Hero? What is this?
Just giving out, helping out. Just for a great cause, for the older guys that retired, that don't have the benefits. We all know that once you're after 5 years of playing in the league, your insurance is cut off. And so this is a great cause of raising money for those guys to help out any kind of medical bill that these guys could be going through right now in their lifetime. And it's been a great cause and a great way to raise money for these guys.
It's very cool. How'd you get involved with this?
A couple guys reached out to me
Okay.
and told me about the situation and said that they're doing it. And it touched my heart that, there's something that if it takes, an hour or two out your day, to really reach out and help out, with the platform that we have.
Yeah.
Why not do it?
Mark, the Gridiron Greats Assistant Fund, what all does this encompass?
So I grew up across the street from Diane Ditka's brother.
Okay.
And 17 years ago, we got the governor to declare the Sunday Pork Rind Appreciation Day because no one else had. And we thought, what goes better on the biggest pigskin holiday of the year than pigskins?
No doubt.
And we were looking for someone to help. And we heard about the Gridiron Greats. And we heard that Mike was helping players that played before 92 that didn't have the pensions, that were having some incredible health problems and not being able to get to their doctor's appointment, losing their homes. And he asked for our help. We started helping. Last night we had our Cigars with the Stars party. We'll raise $500,000 for these great players that were our heroes going up.
Yeah.
And Devin was so gracious to team up with Coach Ditka and the Gridiron Greats this year and help us get the word out.
That's very cool. Devin, do you know what yesterday was 19 years ago? Yesterday?
The opening kickoff.
You darn right.
Anniversary.
That anniversary of the opening.
Oh, yeah.
Is it like on your phone? Does it come up like an anniversary?
All the time.
Yeah. People send you videos and stuff?
All the time.
Bears fans, I bet.
Bears fans, Packers fans.
Yeah.
All the fans. Yeah. Whenever
see,
they come up, they made sure they DM me.
In Kansas City, we think back to the do we have time to run Wasp against the 49ers and that Wasp play. We're like, oh, yeah, one of the greatest plays. And Bears fans certainly thinking of that, man. Do you have – like when you're returning that kick, Devin, I mean, things are going on around you, right? But when you break free, what's the body feel like at that point? When you know when you know you're taking it to the house, it's the opening kickoff of the Super Bowl. What's going on in Devin Hester's body?
All I can think about is showtime now. It's a great feeling, man, to catch that ball and bob and weed through the traffic, and 2 or 3 seconds later, you look down the field, there's nobody in front of you. Like, that's one of the best feelings as a football player that you can ever experience. Even if you're a defensive player, it's catching the pick and there's nobody in front of you, man. It's like, it's no way to explain that feeling. It's a feeling that as a child, as a grown man, is one of the greatest feelings you can ever have.
Were you naturally blessed with vision? Is that something you can work on? Can you hone a skill like that to see how bodies are moving in front of you, to see where an opening will happen before it even happens?
To be honest, I think it's just a natural gift.
Yeah.
Because it's always been like that with me as a child. Like, even when I played Little League football, it was just a gift that it was just second nature to me.
Wow. Yeah. And you knew it early on that this was something you could do. Did people around you know? Like, Devin's going to be in the league one day.
They always said that about me.
Really?
Growing up I mean, I can remember, like, at the age of 7, 8 years old.
Yeah.
Guys said you had something special that's not normal. you know, and if you continue to keep working hard and keeping, stay out of trouble and things like that, then I can see you potentially one day being successful in its game.
When you thought about yourself being in the NFL, what did you think of? Return specialist, cornerback, wide receiver? What was in your mind that you were envisioning? I'm going to be in the NFL, and this is what it's going to look like.
To be honest, I just wanted to be a special player.
Okay.
That name would never be forgotten. That I would be considered one of the greatest athletes to ever play the game of football, and that was my goal.
Did you reach your goal?
Most definitely. Most definitely.
I saw you walking around yesterday. You had that gold jacket on.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't want to wear it 2 days in a row?
Nah.
I
had a long day yesterday, and I knew I was preparing for the day.
I joked around early in the show. I said, we're having Devin on today, and he's not as noticeable because I don't see the gold jacket. I said, if there's ever a time where you can wear the same thing back-to-back days, I think it's an NFL Hall of Fame gold jacket.
It is.
I don't think anybody would judge you.
You don't want to. I don't want to wear it. I don't want to wear it out. And it's uncomfortable. When you're going 5-6 hours straight with that jacket. That's a special jacket, so it fit kind of different.
Yeah, that's we talk about the we talk about the feeling that you have when you break free and there's nobody in front of you. What was the feeling you got when they made that call to you last year? Because you were on that stage.
Yeah.
What, the guys on the stage last night? You were on the stage last year.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
2 years ago. What was that call like for you?
Man, it was just so unreal, just building up to it. I had experienced that. I experienced that the prior 2 years before that.
Yeah.
And so just going through the process of being the first selection and then the semifinal, working my way all the way down to the top 20 for the past 2 years. And then when I didn't get a call, because normally they call you, let you know, hey, man, apologize, you didn't make it this year. But when I didn't get the call, I was like, wow, this could be the year. And then when I got that knock at the door, it was just like something that you never as a kid thought would ever happen. You know, like growing up as a kid playing football, you don't think about the Hall of Fame. That's just something that's just above, what would you say, your pay grade. You know what I mean? You just don't think about it until you get later on in your career, and then you start realizing that you putting up numbers that's never been done before. Then you start thinking about Hall of Fame. So for me growing up, I never thought about being a Hall of Famer. It was just something that came throughout the years of me playing in the NFL.
Did you think that, so when you're going through the process, did you doubt that they would give the respect to a specialist, to a return, like the only man in the Hall of Fame now as a specific specialist, that they would just keep overlooking you because of that?
Yeah, I feel like you have doubt when you doubt your success and your stats and your statistics. When I retired, I had no doubt in mind that I was going to be a Hall of Fame.
Really?
Because when I look at what I was against and who I was against, it was like I just stood out. You know what I mean? And so I knew there was no way they could have kept me out of Forbidden Hall of Fame because I did things that was never done before.
Yeah.
And those guys that have those type of escalades and things that they did in the National Football League, those are the guys that's in the Hall of Fame.
You can you're a special teams coach. You're on the sideline. You've got two guys out there. We need the best punt return we've ever had in the world. You got to choose. Am I putting Dion or Devin Hester in the game to return that punt?
Dion, answer that for you guys. We putting Devin Hester.
I didn't know if it was you were going to be like, I'll give it to Dion, but that's the right answer. That's the right answer, is the greatest punt returner in the history, the greatest returner, because new kickoff rules too. How would you have performed with the new kickoff rules?
I love them. I love them. I wish I would have played in this era where they have because I'm pretty sure within 2 years they would have eliminated them rules too.
It would have been the Devin Hester.
It would have been the new Devin Hester rule.
Tiger-proof the golf course. They were going to Devin-proof the kickoff rules.
Just like they put it in the rules when I was playing. They would have changed it again.
That's right. Yeah, a lot of people kicking the ball out of bounds.
Exactly.
Devin Hester. Would you? I'm sort of curious from that somewhere. You're standing there getting ready to return a punt, and you know it's going out of bounds. Like, is that a pride? Are you mad? Are you annoyed? Are you like, yeah, that's what I thought? Like, what's it? Because they're afraid of you, but you don't get a chance to return.
It was very frustrating because I couldn't get my hands on the ball at one point when it first started happening. But then it became, the more mature I got, the level of respect that I started realizing that's just respect. There's nothing around that. You're the type of player where you have coaches can't sleep at night, preparing for you, trying to figure out a way to prepare for you. And the best way to just kick it out of bounds. And so when I started getting more mature and I started realizing that it's not really people in this world where a team would really say, we really respect this guy, where we would punt the ball out of bounds.
Yeah.
Never been done before. And so it became a level of respect, and I embraced it. At first, I couldn't embrace it because me as a player, I just wanted to touch the ball. I want the ball. I want the ball. But then I just realized, you know what I mean? I have to be patient, and it just was a level of respect.
When you look back, how ahead of the times maybe was it when you and Dave Tobe sat down, Dave Tobe, special teams coordinator for the Chiefs, sat down to come up and design different punt returns and kick returns specifically to your talents?
It was me and Coach Dave. We kicked it off from day one. We got a lot of bash from a lot of teams when I first got drafted, saying that they drafted me too high, as a returner specialist and as well as corner. But we knew what we had in store, and so like from day one we kicked it off where like even on our days off, I would go up to the facility and me and him would just work on returns. Way to utilize my talent, watching film on our opponent, trying to figure out what's the best returns to go against those guys. So we was in the lab from day one, and it showed.
Who do you think wins on Sunday?
I like Seattle.
Seattle.
Yeah.
That's been the consensus around here.
I like Seattle.
Mark Singleton, one more time with the Gridiron Greats. What's going on with this?
Yeah, you can go to porkrinds.com, enter our sweepstakes, learn more about the Gridiron Greats. You can go to gridirongreat.org. There's always great things, signed memorabilia, great stuff from our different friends in the NFL like Devin that are available for your listeners to bid on and help the players that they – in the past, we've had Bobby Bell as our Gridiron Great.
Absolutely.
We've had Joe Green. We've had Jack Youngblood. I don't think we've ever had anybody generate as much excitement as Devin this year and with his accomplishments. And you mentioned the kickoff return to open the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't want it to happen, but is there ever been a better opening for
It's
a
amazing.
Super Bowl ever?
It's the only one still.
Yeah.
Opening kickoff. The only score that's technically quicker in the NFL was the safety, but I don't count that just because they look at the clock and because it was a touchback, so the clock didn't run, so technically the safety was quicker. But no, the kickoff counts.
Right.
The kickoff counts. So just because the quickest score in NFL history is the opening kickoff will always be that.
Most definitely.
In Super Bowl history, so for sure. Thank you guys for stopping by. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys for having us.
Congrats again on the Hall of
much.
Fame. Absolutely. There's Devin Hester with the Southern Recipe Small Batch and the Gridiron Greats Assistant Fund. We will take a timeout. We will come back. We'll continue rolling. We're actually going to talk with Jim Gray, who he and Tom Brady have teamed up for the Hall of Excellence and over 300 artifacts and some of the most rare pieces of sports memorabilia that is anywhere out there. We'll do that coming up next here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
You're in the zone.